We have a defense. We have a defense. We have a defense. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom. I have been up for almost 24 hours and just blew out my voice for screaming for the Packers' victory. Grossi, you can put that on a t-shirt. And so, yeah, holy crap, man. The Green Bay Packers have gone into Soldier Field to open up the 2019 NFL season, the 100th season, and knocked off the Chicago Bears, the reigning, defending NFC North Champions, 10-3. Now, let's get if you were just a regular fan watching and had no stakes in the Bears or the Packers and didn't care, it was a bit of an ugly game. I mean, it was obviously a slugfest and a war of attrition between defenses, but the amount of penalties and the fact that we were up to, 17 and 18 penalties between the two teams. The Packers had 71 penalty yards. The Chicago Bears had 107 penalty yards. Like that it was sloppy football. But again, considering the majority of the starters did not play during the preseason, and in addition, it's the first week, which are usually a bit sloppy, that was a bit disappointing to see. But as a Packers fan, there's a lot to point out, and I also want to talk to some Bears fans too about some things. So, taking a look at some stats, Aaron Rodgers, it went 18 for 30, 203 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, the best drive of the night is where we just cut through the Bears defense and hit MVS for a big throw, and then Jimmy Graham in the end zone, which was a very scary throw, by the way. But we'll talk about Jimmy Graham in a second. That was the kind of offense that was innovated. It was exciting. And one of the other drives that stood out to me was when we were caught back in our own end zone in the fourth quarter, and instead of just run to give us breathing room, we threw, and we wound up obviously getting out of the end zone and eventually kicking a field goal. So it's that kind of stuff that under Mike McCarthy, more conservative. And you saw some of the more conservative play calling a bit later in the game. But overall, I liked Matt LaFleur's approach to this. I think the one flaw that he had was obviously that challenge for offensive pass interference, which he's the first in history to do so. So, congrats. But again, I think it was just a bad call. But I mean, again, he won his first game. So that's pretty freaking awesome as a head coach. Aaron Jones went 18 for 39, didn't do too much in the air. I told you, if you watch the Fantasy Studs and Duds video, I said be very wary of playing Aaron Jones because the Bears have a damn good defense. MVS, he went 4 for 152. No. MVS went 4 for 52, had 6 targets. Devontae Adams, 4 for 36, 8 targets. And then Jimmy Graham, 3 for 30, 1 touchdown, and 6 targets. So it looks like the Jimmy Graham that we wanted last year, at least in the first game, he definitely came out. And again, Packers fans, Bear fans, any fans, we cannot make ridiculous conclusions based off of this 1 week of football. Besides, obviously, the Packers are going 19-0 again for the rest of your life. That's the only prediction you can make, and it would be 100% correct. But taking a look at the defense, because the defense is really the story here. The defense won the Packers the game, holding the Bears to 3 points. Obviously, Adrian Amos with, just the most beautiful interception in the back of the end zone of Trubisky, who was under pressure constantly by the Smiths. This is what the free agency got us. In that even if they didn't get to the quarterback like they both did at the end, they were constantly in Trubisky's face, and he looked pretty rattled. You had Kevin King. He played limited snaps. He had a pass defended, almost picked the ball off as well. Tramon Williams had a couple of bad penalties. But overall, 5 sacks. Both Smiths did very, very well. And again, just the constant pressure. And that's something that we severely lacked last year. We've talked about this stat many times, that Preston and Za'Darius Smith had more pressures combined than the entire Packers defense. It's changing now. Like, again, I walked into this year and I told you, if our defense can at least be competent and not lose us games, watch out if that offense gets going. And you had Aaron Rodgers go over to Mike Pettin and kind of shake him and celebrate with him. He deserved every bit of that. I am so glad we kept Mike Pettin, and that was probably the best off-season decision we wound up making. And another guy, J.K. Scott, had 9 punts with an average of 47.6 yards and a long of 63. The kid killed it tonight, absolutely killed it, and it really tilted the field and gave us a major, major advantage. Chicago, on the other hand, Trubisky, 26 for 45, threw the ball 45 times, 228 yards, 1 interception. Allen Robinson, their biggest receiver, going 7 for 102 yards, making a couple of great catches, and their defense had 5 sacks. Now, the thing that stood out to me is that, like, you had guys like David Montgomery who were doing well in the limited play timing that they were getting, but they barely used him at all in the second half, and they just basically put it on the shoulders of Trubisky. And there was flashes that he had. There were some throws that he made that were incredible. But then there are plays where he overthrew people, or more importantly, like there was one, Trubisky faked the handoff and started running a bootleg and then pretended to throw it and then wound up dodging 2 tacklers, but then just fell down and probably could have gotten the first down if he just made a direct run for it. But then there was also like interesting play calling that was occurring, like going for it on 4th and 10 when you were somewhat in like medium to long field goal range, and at least giving your kicker a shot at making it. Because again, the deficit for the majority of the game was only 4 points. So the Bears, it seemed to me, obviously were not functioning on all cylinders, and neither were the Packers' offense, to be completely honest. They had that one really good drive, and boneheaded penalties kept killing them over and over and over again. But neither team looked super duper sharp. But the one thing I will pull out of this is the Packers defense really did look good. Now, I'm not going to give, and say it was all Packers defense, because I think there was some struggles going on with the Bears offense as well. But the Packers defense really did impress me. And the best part about this game is that they are just going to get better and better and better. And to break this down, this is a huge win for the Green Bay Packers. We are playing the next 5 of 6 games at home. We went into Chicago, beat a division rival, and listen, we're undefeated and number 1 in the NFC North right now. I'm just saying. But down the road, if we're talking playoffs, we're talking week 1. This could be a big, big deal when it comes to the standings. So right now, Packers fans, yeah, we are freaking fracking celebrating. We had some inactives tonight. Darius Shepard, Dexter Williams, Kadar Holman, Oren Burks, Cole Madison, and Alex Light did not play. But Darnell Savage looked great. He was a standout. Martinez had some missed tackles, but overall played pretty well. Also had a sack and could have almost had a pick if he jumped the route. So Savage looked great. Obviously, the Smiths looked really, really good too. MVS and Jimmy Graham look like they're going to be a major part of this offense. If you have Aaron Jones in fantasy, do not panic that he only got you like 4 points. Again, this was a really good defense. Next week, he might not either. We're going and playing the Vikings. And, one of the things that stood out to me was when Adrian Amos was interviewed right after the game, he said, this was a great week 1. He goes, but we have to go in and we have to win week 2, because if we don't, then week 1 didn't matter. And I love that attitude. It's just like, listen, we did what we had to do tonight. It was great. Now let's go on to the next one. So an absolute phenomenal victory for the Packers to pull this one out. And, our defense looks at least competent. I think they look good. But again, I'm not going to put too much judgment and analysis on a week 1 performance. But this felt good. If I could trust the defense, because they've hurt me so many times in the past, I might finally be able to have a healthy relationship with the Packers defense once again. They've changed this time, right? Right? But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Bears fans, again, it was a hard-fought game. I don't understand a lot of the play calling that you guys were doing. I think David Montgomery is the real deal. Every time he touched the ball, he seemed to make plays and elude tacklers. And I think it's just a matter of you just need to find your right footing. I still think the Bears are going to be good this year. But this is a really big win for the Packers. And so we're 1-0, baby. And Matt LaFleur is 1-0. Hell yeah. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can check out the whole reaction live stream on the channel as well. I have like no voice. I am shot. And I got to get up in less than 4 hours for work. So this is going to be good. Let me know what you think. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. A big shout out and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. And check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, and Spotify. But thank you so much for watching. We'll do a live stream tomorrow, a live stream Q&A tomorrow evening. And there'll also be another special video that'll come out tomorrow. So stay on the lookout for that. So thank you very much, everyone. There's like 1,500 people on the stream at one point. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you all who donated. Thank you all who watched. Have a great night. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack, go.